It got to screen in a lot of places, and now that it's, we're kind of coming back to where we shot, right? We shot in Cambodia town, so it's great to screen it here.
So what is your feel about it coming to, Samnang being featured in the Cambodia Town Film Festival and utilizing it as a platform to showcase your film? How do you feel about that?
I feel great. I hope people get to see it. I think when we screened it at AFI, we had a lot of people, I think, that came from here to go and watch it there, and it got a great response, and people were laughing at all the places we hoped, and and they seemed to be enjoying it, so yeah, I mean, we're in a good company with more shorts.
Cool.
So yeah, it's great.
So when it came down to the filming journey,
yeah,
how was the process before that? Like, for example, the casting process. How were you able to know that particular talent was the right fit for the character you wanted to convey? How was the casting process?
So we kind of early on knew that we were going to be working with like what's called non-actors, because for the age that we were looking, I was told I won't find many Cambodian actors.
What was the age range that you were looking for?
We were looking for early 40s.
Okay.
Early to mid 40s, and so we were kind of doing this open call. Steve Meng and Pratch helped us.
Amazing.
And we just we posted wherever we could, and our first day actually a lot of people came. Jonathan came on the first day because Jonathan, who played Samnang, he came on the first day because he just basically heard that someone's doing auditions in the theater, in the local theater. So he came in, and he was great. But we saw a lot of men, a lot of women. It was a pretty long process, and it was like, for me, it was a bit different because I like working with actors, I'm used to working with actors, and here was suddenly people who want to act, but have never really had that much of experience before that.
Right.
So, we did quite a lot of auditions. So we started with just a regular audition, and then we did a chemistry read. So we brought these few men, we're thinking about these few women, let's mix them up, see how they're doing,
Just to see the chemistry.
Yeah, and then eventually we got to Jonathan and Kayleen, who were the two leads. And then it was a pretty long rehearsal process. We were lucky to do rehearsals on location in the donut shop.
Very cool.
Yeah, which is pretty unique to get to, because we were, the donut shop closed around 9, and then the baker would come a bit later, so we had that kind of like hour window or hour and a half to work at the donut shop.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so which was really helpful.
And you were part of the whole casting process the entire way?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, you did mention that you wanted to target more so the non-actors. Why so?
Well, it was just kind of more of what we were, because we were looking. The film is in Khmer, right? And we didn't want to. We didn't want it to be in English. I mean, there's a few sentences in English, but that's kind of like when they're talking to people.
So the entire film is in Khmer?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited to watch it. I did see a small snippet. I was like, it really captivated me, so I'm excited to watch it.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I just knew from what I was told, and there, at the beginning we met with casting directors, and they were like, well, let's try. It might be hard to find Cambodian actors. Let's try. And maybe they can learn the language. And I was like, that's not really what we want.
Right.
And not especially with the amount of time that we have, and there has to be someone.
Right.
Or more than someone, a few people that can act, right? And there were, I think Jonathan and Kayleen and Vic, who has also a smaller role in the movie, they're first-time actors, but they're talented, and they definitely have they have acting skills, so.
Amazing.
They just have it, they just didn't act beforehand.
Got it.